Hello and welcome to your 2018 Sagittarius Great Mother Speaks full moon reading. This year it is on May 29th. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are experiencing mama drama trauma. This deck and these readings are specifically designed to offer clarity, balance, and confirmation to those of us consistently and persistently experiencing abandonment or abuse from the mother or maternal figures that impact our lives today. This person could have abandoned us in childhood or could abandon us in adulthood through addictions or through death. This is not about blame or shame. This is about identifying how we feel as a distinct human being from the issues, unhealed issues, traumas imposed upon us in childhood. I am Tammy Taylor, an inner work life coach specializing in mama drama trauma condition, in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. Now, in cases where the mother is unable, unwilling, or unavailable to heal, loving detachment is required. So we talk about that in the readings. We deal with mothers oftentimes who change like the phases of the moon, and so it's difficult for us to distinguish how we feel from our mothers. And so these lunar readings are designed to cultivate, to nurture, and to actually grow and evolve the space within us to have the ability to do that for ourselves. We look at the sidereal, the soul sign. So the sidereal moon sign, this full moon is in Scorpio, in the nakshatra of Anudra, that vivacious, creative, caring, stellar mansion in the sky that the moon will be in as it is reflecting the light of the sun in Taurus in the nakshatra, the beautiful, enhancing, gracious Rohini, this composure riddled, compassionate, devoted, noble energy of the sun. So we look at the soul astrology, the sidereal, to ascertain that soul space. So if you are Sagittarius, that means that more than likely your sidereal sign is in Scorpio, making this your first house, and also your halfway mark of your lunar new year. Be sure to check out in the playlist your lunar new year readings if that hasn't happened for you yet. Stay tuned, because every new moon marks the lunar new year for your new moon sign. So the Taurus lunar new year readings have just been posted, and the Geminis will be coming up. Of course, that is Taurus Gemini with the Taurus in the sidereal. Now, these are posted according to your Western. If you're new with us, want to be sure that you understand that the full moon in terms of Great Mother is really focusing on really paying attention to what those new moon intentions were that you set. We've been doing some readings that focused on those new moon wishes. Great Mother offered 5. It suggested that 10 be a maximum. Want to do some research on that? Go to greatmotherspeaks.info/vlog to see what those suggested new moons readings have been for the last 2 months. We're going to kind of move away from that. As you practice on your own, you gain your own rhythm, you gain your own stance of understanding how that energy works. These readings will make a lot more sense to and for you. With this full moon, we're really looking at the cleansing, purification aspect of what has come forward as a result of your new moon intentions. And so again, you might want to check out what those suggested ones were if you did not set them by Great Mother, and to see what is coming up in your internal life at this particular time as this full moon in Scorpio Sagittarius purifies, cleanses, and really tests the mutual feelings that you have. Now, mutual feelings have to do with, of course, our personal and professional relationships. With the moon reflecting the sun, it's always on the opposing sign that we find that solar energy. So the sun now is in that Taurus and the sidereal Gemini in the Western. So your moon sign attraction will naturally be to someone with that Taurus, Gemini, Sidereal, Western axis. Of course, the Western astrology has to do with our emotional ego energy. Western astrology is an earth-centric astrology, and we do the reading from that place to have a conscious hit from what Great Mother is saying from that deeper space, and you find what resonates best with you. So, with no further ado, here are your May full moon readings from Great Mother Speaks. Sagittarius, Capricorn moon people, this Sagittarius new moon is in your 12th and 6th houses. The moon is in your 12th house, and the sun is being reflected in your 6th house. So 12th house energy we always associate with isolation and alienation, hospitals, incarceration. So you might be feeling a little alone. There might be a little loneliness that you're feeling at this time, or a lot of loneliness, because we have that Sagittarius energy. And so Sagittarius, Scorpio Sagittarius is really tapping into what you know on a really deep level. And so there's some things that you're needing to deeply contemplate and deeply appreciate. You are the moon sign that Saturn is transiting for the next year or so. And you're being called to task on a soul level on reassessing why you're here and what you're doing. And that's what you're constantly being asked in your internal space at this time. And you are approaching this full moon centering yourself in this awareness. You're beginning to fall in line with what's going on. Saturn entered your moon sign in mid-December of last year. And so it's taking you a good 6 months to kind of get a feel of what's going on. And that's what's going on. You know, Saturn, the school teacher, the schoolmaster of the cosmos, is demanding that you pay attention to why your soul came here. And with this Sagittarius full moon, it's giving you an opportunity to reflect on that. So your transformative opportunity in this full moon reflection is to look at ways in which you are still prostituting yourself. The soul is coming through with that sagacious, sidereal energy saying, look, there are still ways that you need to look at how you are prostituting yourself, how you are exchanging your energy, how you are exchanging your time and your resources that do not honor you. Because the transformative opportunity for this full moon, and this being a full moon card, is very much amplified, that there's an opportunity for you to exchange your energy now in ways that do honor who you are and what you are about. If you don't know what Great Mother is talking about, she's saying don't overlook the fact it's as simple as you feeling free. In what ways do you feel bondage? Do you feel blocked? Do you feel limited? Do you feel restricted? That's that Saturnal energy. In what ways do you feel that way right now? And there'll be your answer about how to use your energy in ways to free yourself. It's as simple as that. And as challenging, because in your center card right below your other full moon card, Ishtar, is Sulis. So there's a huge emphasis on this Scorpio Sagittarius full moon for you that is saying to use your energy in ways that you're recognizing that you already have everything that you need. It's just a matter of an internal shift of how you see yourself as having everything that you need. Do you know that? Heart chakra full moon is that alignment of the ego and the soul in which it trusts that what it's asking for, its silent prayers, are already answered. Yes, if you are not experiencing that in your material world, that your prayers are already answered, trusting that, you are trusting your journey. And so entrusting your journey to get to a space where what your silent prayers are as they relate to what your soul is, the silent prayer being the assumption that you're wanting to align with your soul purpose and you're not feeling that you're doing that this particular time. What else is underneath that? What else is blocking that? Because we do already have our freedom. We are already free. We do already have the answers to our prayer. What's keeping us from seeing that? And for you is the Newt card. What's keeping you from seeing that and perhaps even from feeling that from a lunar perspective is feeling orphaned, feeling left alone, feeling neglected. That emotion is so strong at this particular time for you. You don't feel healthy, happy, and whole. You don't feel that you're free. Now, for those of you who have released the feeling of being an orphan at this particular time, you do feel well, happy, healthy, and whole. You do feel free, but you're not acknowledging it. So let's do that again. For some of you, you are not exchanging your energy, your gifts, and your talents in a way that honor you. And as a result, you don't know that you're already healthy, happy, and free because you keep selling yourself out. And as you do that, you're not experiencing freedom. You're not experiencing your true emancipation as a dearly loved child of the great Mother, Father, God. That's not something that you're actually feeling and experiencing right now. But for others of you watching, you are sharing your energy consciously in a way that honors yourself. And you're doing it because because you are free. And as a result, you're feeling healthy, happy, and whole. But you're not consciously aware that that's why you're feeling healthy, happy, and whole. She wants you to acknowledge that you're feeling that way because you're making decisions based on your divinity. You are, in other words, empowering yourself. So regardless of where you are in that continuum, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Moon people, the angels are assisting you with greater clarity, with a greater sense of loving detachment so that you can experience more of an internal feeling of freedom to experience your wellness. It is you tapping your heels 3 times, body, mind, and spirit, to go home. Now, this journey to wellness for some of us is because we haven't tapped our heels yet. And this is how you're approaching the full moon. So it's just a matter of you doing it. Great Mother's coming through like Linda the Good Witch and saying, all you have to do is tap your heels 3 times. And what is tapping our heels 3 times? Body. It's really acknowledging how we are feeling and locating in our body where we are emotionally. Are we, when we are interacting with others, really feeling like we're sharing ourselves in a way that makes us feel healthy, happy, and whole? The sun is in your 6th house, and your 6th house has to do with your health. It has to do with your service to the world, your work-life balance. So what is being reflected in your life right now, the full moon illumination as it relates to your mutual harmonious feelings of energy exchange. The angels are assisting you to lovingly detach from situations that do not provide that exchange in a way that you can experience wellness. You're dancing right now with the law of mystery and divine order. It doesn't make sense to you why you're having to shift your life in these ways, why Saturn is making you focus on certain things, and it's not supposed to. This is the 3rd quarter moon yang symbol root chakra card. 3rd quarter is release and letting go. On a soul level, you're letting go to old past patterns from many lifetimes. And so yes, emotionally, egoically, in this earth lifetime, no, it's not going to make a lot of sense. But you're dancing with this law of divine order. You're dancing with this mystery and how you're going to actually physically reground your life purpose in this lifetime at this time. This is a huge time for you in terms of negotiating your internal space. You are shifting it on such a soul level that it's calling into existence a whole new truth that you'll be living by. You're going to be living by a whole new truth, which means it's the equivalent of being a child developing from the first to the sixth house of the astrological wheel. That's all about egoic establishment through home and the self. And you're kind of jumping to 7th, 12th house astrological, because you're in the 12th house lunar now with this Sagittarius full moon, to the other, higher knowing, integrating new lessons. And your truth as a result of that integration is going to be so different from what it was before on that lower egoic child conditioning state, that just as Dorothy, after she clicked her heels 3 times and opened her eyes, she was a whole new person in the same place. She was right back on the farm, but she was a different person. She was free. Just by clicking her heels 3 times. Well, was it that simple? No. There was a journey to wellness. And it was a journey because she felt that she had to go before Oz's throne and ask for the freedom that was already hers. Until we know what is ours, until we know who we are, we will always ask other people for validation. We will always be seeking that father figure, that mother figure, until we know that it exists within us. We can lovingly detach from those definitions, from that conditioning that has heretofore told us that it was outside of us, and love everything as it is. You know, everything is a part of us, but what meaning do we give to it? How are we energetically attaching ourselves to it? That's the conscious choice, and there is eternal grace and mercy in whatever way we choose to do that, because we are eternal beings. Your final outcome at this particular time is that you will either feel victimized as a result of having to confront these truths and do this internal work as something that you feel is yet another thing that you're feeling put upon, and alone and alienated, because that's what's required. Where do the greatest revelations come from? Haven't you heard? If it hasn't happened to you, oh, when I had my surgery and I was off work for 6 months, or I was hospitalized for 3 days, I realized that such and such and such and such. Or when I had my surgery and they had to take out this and this and this and this, I knew that I had to change my life. Or when I went to jail, or when I was divorced and I had to go back and live by myself in this little studio apartment and I had to so-and-so, I realized then. So that's what 12th house energy is about. And so some of you watching, that is the last thing that you want to experience. And there is not at this particular time an appreciation of how integrating your lessons prior to, from 1st to 6th house, and what you've learned since, learning of the other and seeing the perspective of your mother and how that has played out in your relationships to now. That's still quite difficult for some of you. But for others, you're going to transform this sense of victimhood to a higher consciousness, a higher awareness of who you are and what you are in the world. And you will be freed from that sense of alienation by realizing that the answer is truly you. What you've been fearing the most is yourself, and this time to be with and devoted to yourself is a gift that this full moon is offering you to appreciate yourself fully and with no reservation. It's offering you that, and the angels are assisting you to lovingly detach from the requirement that you've put upon yourself and others to fulfill the need that Great Mother is saying in your center card is already within yourself. This is very difficult for some of you, but it is truly what this full moon is offering. And so as you do your inner work, remember that you always have support at greatmotherspeaks.info. Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
For more information about Mama Drama Trauma, visit mamadramatrauma.info.